Good afternoon. This is ASO Television News. I am Richard Alechinwanyebe. We apologize for bringing you the news behind schedule. The headlines. Federal High Court grants El-Rufai bail. FCT expresses satisfaction with progress of infrastructure projects across Abuja. Supreme Court to hear Mark-led appeal against Nafi Ubala on Tuesday. Nigeria's Minister of Finance says country's economy is facing serious shocks due to Middle East crisis. The news in detail. The trial judge, Justice Rilwan Alkawa of the Federal High Court sitting in Kaduna State, has granted the former governor of Kaduna State, Nasiru El-Rufai, bail. El-Rufai was brought before the state court on Monday, April 14, 2026 by ICPC operatives and personnel of the Department of State Services, DSS. He is facing an amended 9-count charge after the prosecution reviewed its initial feelings. He is being charged for alleged financial misconduct, including deposits into his domiciliary accounts and how his earnings were handled by the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, ICPC. However, El-Rufai's bail application was stalled at the Kaduna State High Court as the presiding judge, Justice Dairos Kobo, reserved ruling on the bail application to April 21st, 2026. During the court session on Monday, the defense team led by Barrister Ubong Akpan raised concerns over the late service of the amended charges, noting that they were only made available in the court. The development led the presiding judge, Justice Dairos Kobo, to adjourn to allow the defense adequate time to review the new files. The Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Barrister Ezinwunye Sonwike, has expressed satisfaction with ongoing progress of ongoing road and infrastructure projects across Abuja. The Minister, who inspected several project sites, also addressed political concerns over access to public facilities. Our correspondent, Usman Katim Omar.
The FCT Minister, Barrister Ezinwunye Sonwike, says ongoing road projects across the capital are on schedule for completion, with contractors reaffirming their commitment to agreed timelines. Speaking after inspecting key sites, the minister said most of the projects, including roadworks and streetlight installations, are expected to be completed before the end of May.
I'm sure that everybody is happy that their poor mechanic will live where they are and come into this place. They are going to provide all the infrastructure needed. And they have also said that the company CGC is coming by the end of May. It will be completed and they will start working on how the informal sector that the poor mechanics to move into the place. So very happy with what we have seen.
Barrister Wike also visited Gadua, where he directed the installation of protective mesh along road corridors to prevent encroachment by traders. At Wasa, the minister inspected a major facility designed to relocate informal sector operators, particularly mechanics, from unregulated locations within the city. Described the project as a significant step toward improving the working conditions of artisans, noting that arrangements are underway to facilitate their relocation once the project is completed. The minister further highlighted the administration's commitment to project delivery, stressing that timely payment to contractors has helped sustain progress across sites. On the commissioning of completed projects, Barrister Wike said the government would determine appropriate arrangements, including delegating representatives where necessary. Meanwhile, the minister dismissed claims that any political party had been denied access to the Eagle Square for its convention.
When you look at that behind all this, you ask yourself, are there really people who would really want to say they're talking about positive change? As I speak to you, nobody has written any letter. I don't know the very they are talking about. They have, okay, let's make our assume that they talk about Eagle Square. Nobody, not one, wrote any letter to use Eagle Square. I called the GMD of AFSI. There's nothing like that. There's no way we would deny them because we collect revenue from that. You have to pay, and nobody has written to us.
He maintains that access to public facilities remains open to all groups, provided due process is followed. Minister Wike also clarified reports on the Kogo bus terminal, stating that the structure did not collapse but only suffered roofing damage due to heavy windstorm, with repairs already underway. Usman Khatun Umar, ASO Television News.
The All Progressives Congress APC in Abaji Era Council has successfully conducted its World Congress across the 10 political wards through an affirmative consensus process, reinforcing unity and internal democracy within the party. The World Congress Committee Chairman, Honorable Agaba Audu, provides the exercise alongside representatives of the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC), who were present to observe proceedings and ensure strict adherence to laid-down guidelines. Stakeholders and party leaders commended the orderly conduct of members, noting that the consensus approach adopted helped to foster unity, minimize disputes, and strengthen cohesion among party people in the area council. The APC leadership in Abaji, under the guidance of the area council chairman and FCT APC senatorial aspirant Alhaji Bakar Umar Abdullahi, expressed appreciation to members for their disciplined cooperation and unwavering dedication to the progress of the party. He further reiterated the party's resolve to continue promoting unity, inclusiveness, and collective responsibility as it works towards achieving greater success in upcoming elections. The Supreme Court of Nigeria will today hear an appeal filed by former Senate President Senator David Alichulu Bonaventure Mark against a suit filed by the former Deputy National Chairman of the African Democratic Congress, Nafiu Bala, over the leadership of the party. In the appeal, Mark is asking the court to grant an order staying the execution of a Court of Appeals ruling delivered on March the 12th. The appeal, which was filed by his counsel, Will One Opanachi, prayed the court for an order staying execution of the appellate court's judgment pending the hearing and determination of his appeal. Senator David Mark urged the courts to restrain the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) from altering the party's current national leadership structure as constituted and presented by him pending the hearing and determination of the appeal. He also sought an order staying further proceedings in a suit before Justice Emeka Nwite of the Federal High Court of Abuja. Senator Mark had appealed a September 4, 2025 ruling by Justice Emeka Nwite of the Federal High Court in Abuja over an ex parte application filed by Nafiu Bala, a chieftain of the party. The ADC has been grappling with deepening factional divisions, with rivals camps laying claims to the party's leadership. The crisis has led to court orders and administrative uncertainty over who legitimately controls the party's national structure. The situation was further complicated when INEC reportedly delisted David Mark as the party's national chairman in its official record. The decision led to a protest by the Mark-led National Working Committee that was attended by chieftains of the ADC, including the former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, former Osun State Governor Rauf Aregbesola, and former Anambra State Governor Peter Obi, and a former Governor of Rivers State, Rotimi Amechi. Operatives of the Nigerian Police Force have arrested a total of 50 suspected criminals in a nationwide crackdown and recovered cache of arms, ammunition, and other exhibits. Force spokesman DCP Anthony Okon Placid disclosed this during a press briefing held at the Force Intelligence Department Intelligence Response Team FIDRIT headquarters in Abuja. Here's the report. In the briefing, DCP Placid said the arrest, arms, and ammunition recovery were carried out in a series of coordinated operations targeting criminal networks across the country, adding that they were part of ongoing efforts by the force to dismantle kidnapping syndicates, gun-running networks, and other organized criminal groups operating nationwide. According to him, the operations that led to these achievements by the force through operatives of the FIDIRT were carried out between January and April 2026. He disclosed that those arrested are linked to kidnapping, armed robbery, banditry, and other violent crimes, and highlighted some of the cases.
Within the period under review, that is from January to date, these operatives have followed up on several gun-running kidnapping syndicates, clandestine activities, which have led to recovery of several dangerous weapons and illicit drugs, among other exhibits. Today, we will be highlighting 7 cases which led to the arrest of 50 suspects, and the recovery of 17 rifles of various models, 111 live ammunitions of various calibers, 2 empty magazines, 17 live cartridges, 3 vehicles, 3 phones, 7 magazines, 5 walkie-talkies. Number 1 is the criminal conspiracy, kidnapping and banditry case, in which there's a suspect in custody, and exhibits recovered includes 1 FNC rifle, 1 empty magazine. And the facts of the case as follows. The operatives of the Force Intelligence Department, IRT, arrested one Musa Jubrin in connection with criminal conspiracy and unlawful possession of firearms. The arrest followed an earlier operation on the 26th of December 2025, during which 1 FNC rifle and an empty magazine were recovered from the suspect. Preliminary investigation reveals that the suspect procured the firearm from one Bala, now at large.
The first public relations officer further disclosed that a major breakthrough was also recorded following the arrest of 33 suspects linked to terrorism, kidnapping, cattle rustling, and arms trafficking across Kwara and Kogi states, adding that the operations followed the 2025 attack on a church in Eruku, Kwara State, saying that recovered arms included AK-47 rifles, magazines, an anti-aircraft launcher, and communication devices. DCP Placid noted that investigations are ongoing in all cases, with efforts intensified to arrest fleeing suspects and recover additional weapons. He reaffirmed the commitment of the Nigerian Police Force to strengthening its investigative capacity and collaborating with other security agencies to combat crime. Richard Aleche Nwanyebe, ASO Television News. The federal government has reaffirmed its commitment to transparency and accountability in the public service as the Federal Ministry of Aviation and Aerospace Development reviews its personnel audits. Secretary Mahmoud Adamu Kambari made this known during a meeting with ASGA consultants, noting that the audit aligns with directives to ensure credible staff verification across government agencies. The audit is aimed at improving workforce planning, eliminating discrepancies, and enhancing efficiency within the ministry. Consultants have revealed that out of 350 staff, 310 were successfully verified, while 40 failed to participate. Key recommendations include verification of affected staff, removal of retired personnel from the records, and resolution of discrepancies in the government payroll system. The ministry says steps will be taken to address all outstanding issues and strengthen personnel management in line with ongoing public service. Hundreds of youth in Aitoro Dede, Ijumu local government area of the state on Monday staged a protest over what they described as a politically motivated attempt to undermine the leadership of the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC). Demonstrations drawn from various youth and civil society groups marched through various major streets of the community, voicing strong support for the independence of the electoral body and expressing confidence in Professor Joash Oduamopton, carrying placards with inscriptions such as "Enemies of fairness beware" and "Fair elections start with their Mopton." The protesters insisted that recent claims and rumors circulating on social media were part of a broader agenda to discredit the electoral system. The protest featured a large procession of youth on motorcycles and on foot, drawing attention from residents, and participants chanted solidarity songs and called for the protection of democratic institutions. Speaking during the demonstration, a youth leader identified as Shegun said the group would resist any attempts to blackmail or weaken the electoral body. The Integrity Group of Nigeria, also known as the Renewed Hope and Gender Ambassadors, convened its National Executive Council meeting on April the 12th in Abuja to consolidate strategies towards the 2027 general elections. The NEC meeting was chaired by the convener, Ambassador Dr. Ife Idawene, who stressed the need to strengthen grassroots mobilization efforts to deliver on its pledge of 10 million votes for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu 2027. Adeyemi Pelumi has more on this.
During deliberations, Dr. Idawene praised the efforts of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration for bold steps initiatives, including fuel subsidy removal, economic restructuring, education stability, student loan initiatives, NYSC empowerment schemes, and improved international recognition for Nigeria, describing the government as human-faced and working to restore Nigeria's pride among nations.
And FCT, as of today, As of today, we can boast of about 5 million members by the grace of God. And our target is to give President Bola Ahmed Tinubu 10 million votes come 2027. Now, Integrity Group is a group helped by Allah, helped by God. A man helped by God is limitless. A self-made man is limited. A group helped by God, Allah, is limitless. A group that is self-made is limited. Face in the north, a face in Nigerian polity, you cannot keep quiet anymore. We are entering market season. Allow me to use the word market season. What is market season? Electionary period.
In a keynote presentation, the group's patron, Dr. Dorcas Oka, lectured executives ahead of its national symposium themed Renewed Hope Agenda Through Continuity, where she outlined plans to showcase the achievements of the Tinubu's administration so far. Dr. Dorcas Oka emphasized that the group's activities remain peaceful and centered on unity and positive engagement, noting that their white uniform symbolizes purity, peace, and hope for a better tomorrow.
Made mention of an example that in your respective states, when you want to go out to make your videos or your exclamations, it has to pass through him so that it can be vetted, so that everybody is speaking with one word, one voice. Because once somebody is speaking with a different voice, it can counteract every other thing that we have been doing together. That is the essence of what? Of teamwork. So our role towards 2027 is focused on principles for Ahmed Tinubu. Is that not so? Yes. Hello. Hi. Our support reflects our values of transparency, accountability, and service.
Other executives who spoke during the NEC meeting commended the leadership strength of President Tinubu and called on Nigerians to support his campaign activities for 2027.
The federal government has granted a waiver on import duties for electric vehicles and mass transit buses as measures to ease inflation caused by the ongoing Middle East crisis on Nigerians and boost affordability. Development is contained in a statement in an ex post by the special assistant to the president on social media. Adawu Olusegun noted that the move was part of the new fiscal measures aimed at easing economic pressure on Nigerians and curbing inflationary pressures, following the president's directive to key economic officials. According to him, the Tinubu administration approved a broad set of import duty reductions to lower inflation, support businesses, and improves affordability for consumers. Under the new policy, import duties on electric vehicles were reduced from 5% to 0%, while mass transit buses were also granted the same full exemption duty from 5% to 0%. The policy measures also cover broader tariff cuts like passenger vehicles from 70% to 40% to support consumers and industries. The move, he said, is to encourage cheaper public transportation and support cleaner mobility alternatives. The Etsukwali, His Royal Highness Luka Ayedo Nizasan IV, is called on the leadership of the local authority to put more effort in provision of basic amenities in Al-Heri Special Village due to the peculiar nature of the community. On arrival, he was led to the Water Borehole Primary School and Health Center that were in deplorable conditions. The chief raised concerns for immediate support to the community. The Director of Primary Health Care Department, Dr. Ikechukwu Antonio Oji, and Head of Education Kwali Area Council, Yakubu Matthew, were at the village and also reacted based on the observations made by the Etsukwali. The village head, Malam Ali Isa, appreciated the visiting of the chief and appealed for security support due to the ongoing challenges faced by the community. He held a discussion on land encroachment between the school management of Junior Secondary School, DAFA, and the DAFA traditional. Now to business. Nigeria's Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edun, says the country's economy is facing serious shocks due to the global fallout from the ongoing crisis in the Middle East. In a statement by Special Advisor on Media and Communications, Ogo Okiti, The minister noted that the development is coming at a time when Nigeria is implementing major economic reforms aimed at strengthening the economy and lifting millions out of poverty. Meanwhile, the International Monetary Fund has warned that countries affected by balance of payments shocks may require up to $50 billion in emergency financing. The warning comes ahead of the 2026 spring meetings of the IMF and the World Bank taking place in Washington, D.C., where global economic stability and growth will dominate discussions. Rather, Edun, who is leading Nigeria's delegation to the meeting, said the crisis has worsened fuel prices, food costs, and inflationary pressures, placing additional strain on households and businesses across the country. That story brings us to the end of the bulletin, but before we go, a recap of one of our major stories. Again, I told you that the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Eze Onyesan, expressed satisfaction with the progress of ongoing road and infrastructure projects across Abuja. That's the news. I am Richard Aluchimwanebe, and thanks for watching.